known a happy person that wasn't kind, right? It kind of goes hand in hand, right? You have to be kind in order to be happy. So we created the Free to Give program because we are absolutely committed to getting the most people out of debt, because we want those shackles that bond you to be taken from you completely, right? So you have the freedom to dictate your own life, to write your own story. So I want to share a story with you. Last July, we were very blessed to be able to take our family to Africa. We went to Jinja, Uganda, and my son served as a missionary in Uganda for 2 years. And through this trip, we were able to do some pretty awesome things as a family. We took my parents, Corey's father, and all of our children. And we went to see the gorillas. We trekked with the gorillas. We went on a safari, went and did all of these cool things. But that's not what my family remembers. What my family remembers from this trip is the service that we did and the time that we took to connect with these beautiful children in Uganda. We're able to set up a clinic and pull jiggers out of people's feet, wash their feet, give them shoes and socks, do Days for Girls training, do this amazing service. And every time we talk about this trip, my dad in this picture and my mom will start to cry. When we are in service of our fellow man, there's an amazing thing that happens. We forget about ourselves. We forget about anything that might be going wrong in our life. We forget about our wants, and we truly lose ourselves in the service of other people. There's something we have to learn from every single individual on this planet, and it's something so beautiful that happens inside of us. We know that random acts of kindness create happiness, but we have to give something of value of ourselves in order for us to feel that happiness. Sometimes you get to a point where just giving monetarily doesn't bring you that happiness anymore. You have to give of yourself, of your time, of your love. And it's an awesome thing. You get to serve your team. You get to serve your family. We get to serve in really, really big ways. I love all these Healing Hands projects that we have going where we get to partner with each and every one of you. But service is such a key part of our business and what we do. Now, as we talk about happiness, we also have to talk about sadness. Because sadness is a result of our human connection, isn't it? When we open ourselves up to love, there's also going to be hurt, right? I've been dealing with a whole lot of pain the last couple of months because I love so much. We're all going to deal with that. People are going to hurt us. People are going to let us down. We're going to lose people that we love. People are going to say things that hurt us to the core. People that matter to us. People that we don't even know on social media, who Sanj and I said are writing in the mom and dad's basement eating SpaghettiOs, right? And just want to bring you down. But that's going to be part of it. But we can't allow the fear of sadness prevent us from connecting, truly connecting with people. This is a picture of some amazing women and my husband, and of course the guy in Mexico that wanted to be in our picture. When we were on the service project on the incentive trip in January, it was an awesome experience as we were able to go and do service for this amazing school. But what happened is we were all out in the sunshine and they needed to mix plaster. And my husband's out there trying to shovel it, right? And I got the shovel. I'm like, this is going way too slow. This is not gonna work out. And so I stripped off my shoes and my socks, and I got down in the plaster, right? And I started to mix the plaster. We turned on the music and we all started dancing together. For 2 hours we mixed plaster, so much so that I now have lye burns on the bottoms of my feet. It was so worth it. It was so worth it. But what happened in that moment, some of these women I knew beforehand, some of them I didn't know until that day. But we bonded and connected as friends. We need love and connection in order to thrive. When you look at what's happening in dōTERRA, we are raising up communities to support one another. When you heard Kim talking about what she's going through in her life right now, did you hear her talk about her support system? It's right here in this room. Her team is her support system. We need teams. We need community. We need connection in order to thrive. So after we finished our plaster mixing, of course we had to take a picture of our feet. But what happened next touched my heart. As we went over to the hose, these women first washed my feet, and I watched theirs. So I want you to think about your relationships, and your family, your team, and your cross team, anyone within your circle. Are you making those relationships intentional? Do you take the time to truly connect, to see them, to feel them, to let them know that they are of value to you? Because the day that these women washed my feet, I truly felt seen, I felt heard, I felt loved, I felt connected. If you come and talk to me, I will look you in the eyes and I will see you. And I hope that you always take the time to let people know that they are seen and that they are important to you. It's one of the greatest gifts that you can give. And the thing is you can't see people and feel people and let them know they are valued without receiving the same gift in return, can you? Happiness requires love. When I went to Kenya a couple of months ago, this is my dear friend, Lydia. They're one of our small-scale geranium growers, and she and her husband were so excited that we were coming. I mean, it just made her world. And as I arrived, she immediately rushed to me. We've never met before. She rushed to me and held me in her arms tight. And she showed me so much love. The entire time we were there checking out her farm, we checked out her house, she wanted to show us everything. She never let go of me. She held my hand, she had her arm around me, I had mine around her. We couldn't communicate, she didn't speak English. It didn't matter. What mattered is that we were able to show love to one another. So is there a difference between happiness and joy? Happiness really is because of things that happen around us, right? So we can go and win a marathon, right? And we're gonna be happy. We're gonna walk the stage as a diamond and we're gonna be happy. But joy is something that resides deep inside of us that is unaffected by our circumstances. So I want to play a video for you of my daughter. Now she is 12 years old. She is a huge basketball fan. And her biggest role model in the world of basketball is Donovan Mitchell, who plays for the Utah Jazz. So we went to a game. We went down on the front row to watch them warm up before the game. And they were hoping, she brought two of her girlfriends with her, and she was hoping and praying that Donovan Mitchell would just come and give her a high five after he was done practicing. So you play this video to see what happened. He He took off his shoes, signed them, and brought them to her. But look at the reaction of her friend. Now, this is the difference between happiness and joy. My daughter is obviously extremely happy, right, that her role model just gave her his size 15 basketball shoes, right? But her friend, Dusty, has so much joy for her. And if you were to know her life circumstance, it is so hard. She deals with hard stuff. And as we were riding in the car up there, she was telling us that she's never been out of state, right? Kind of talking about just the circumstances of her life and how hard it is. And yet, it would have been so easy for her to look at Ashlyn, who has 2 parents, who are still married, who love her, whose passport is fuller than most children have the right to, right? She's been given so many privileges, and it would be so easy for Dusty to look at that and be jealous and be upset that that happened to Ashlyn instead of to her. And instead, Dusty had nothing but love and joy for what just happened to my daughter. It's so easy for us as human beings to look at other people and say, why them? I've wouldn't work in this business as long as they have. I've worked my guts out. Why are they presidential diamond and I'm still sitting here as silver? Why not me? Why have I hit diamond and had 2 legs fall apart when this other person continues to rise up? It's so easy to find ourselves in that situation, but I promise you that every single one of us are given a struggle and a trial in the time that we need it the most. We are being refined for a much greater purpose than what any of us can realize right now in this moment. We are given what we need to grow, to become. And so are we willing to shed the skin of who we have been so that we can rise up to who we are to become? You've been given the tools to change the world, one drop, one person, one community at a time. But are you willing to do the work in order to do that? Are you willing to do the things every single day to get you to that goal line? To truly connect with people, to change your circumstance and to change the circumstance of others? Are you willing to step outside of your comfort zone and share with others what has changed your life? Are you willing to go and do the work to rebuild that leg? Are you willing to bite your pride and do what's for the better of all humanity? None of you, none of us are serving the world if we choose to live, if we choose to live below our potential. Every single one of you is wired for greatness. You were created perfectly. But sometimes we get in our own way. You've been given the vehicle to do all of the things I just talked about in order to bring you happiness, to measure progress, to serve, to love, to connect with people, to build that tribe around you, to be the very best moms that we possibly can be, to show our children that they can do hard things, to erase the wiring that we once had, and to rise up and create a legacy that others can be a part of. So I encourage you to illuminate your light so bright that the world can see it. Because by doing so, you're not taking light away from anybody else. What you're doing is you're giving people behind you, in front of you, and to the side of you permission to rise up and do the same.